All right, guys, so this is going to be a video that I will tell you it's a secret atomic bomb of mass destruction if you can do this. It is a superpower. You guys want a superpower? Good, I'm going to give you one. You ready? Write this down. Pay attention. This whole video is about paying attention. Now, I want you to write this down. Very important. Answers, solutions, and money. Write it down. Answers, solutions, and money is everywhere. Write this down. You have to open your eyes and pay attention. Be alert. So, when that little window opens, you know when that little window opens that so many of us aren't paying attention to? We missed that little 5-word sentence that could have changed the entire outcome of this sale. The customer leaving, the customer staying, the profits being high, the profits being low. Okay, you ready? You have to open your eyes and pay attention. Be alert so that when that little window opens and the opportunity arises, you don't miss it. This is why you have to pay attention. This video is going to be so good for some of you. Some of you right now, you're going to mature up. I'm going to tell you, immature salespeople get crushed. Mature salespeople kill it. I need you to mature with me on this video. Also, I pay attention to everything. Pros miss nothing. Write that down. Pros miss nothing. Are you a pro? Are you a professional? Good. Write this down. Important. Underline it. I don't ever want you to forget this. Important. Underline it. Outside the box thinking. Write it down. Outside the box thinking and new ideas and solutions is a superpower. You cannot come up with these thoughts. You can't think of these things. You can't do these things if you are just following the road to the sale and you're not consciously listening. Write this down. Conscious. You know, when I train someone, there's two things that are going on. One, someone is consuming it as information for entertainment, and then the other person is consciously paying attention. I'm going to tell you those that consciously pay attention, those that don't take training casual, those become legends. And you guys paying attention to me right now? I want you to understand this. You want to become a legend? Pay attention to everything. There is something or there is someone. I say someone because sometimes in order for something to go down, there's someone that we haven't paid attention to, or there's someone that we don't know about. And that's why that deal doesn't go down. Or there is something that we don't know about, or there was something that we disregarded, or sometimes salespeople just want the customer to know what they know, and they don't really care what's going on with the customer. And those are called amateurs, okay? So I'm gonna tell you this. I love that you know your product. I love that you know what your company does. I love you know the benefits and the features. I love all that, but I wanna know, right? Are you willing to pay attention and find that little window? I always say this, find the crack in the castle. Okay, how do we wheel in the Trojan horse and close 100% of all the deals that we talk to, that we present to, that we communicate with? It's very, very simple. Find that little window, find the crack in the castle. Okay, so if I pay close attention, I'm gonna find that crack. You got it? Okay, so let's write this down. You ready? Your ability to sell and your ability to listen. Your ability to sell and your ability to two totally different things. Most people never teach that. Okay, it's so important. But you will never, underline, will never. You will never be the best if you don't pay attention to every little detail. Okay, write this down. Big money's made in the little details. Big money's made in the little details. If you don't do the little things right, there's going to be no big things coming. Okay, your ability to sell and your ability to listen is extremely important. Most people never talk about that. Write this down. Selling is like war. I love this, man. Selling is like war. I've said this forever. You have to pay attention. Not paying attention in a war will get you killed. Am I right? Not paying attention in sales will equate to massive lost sales and big commissions not made. Think about that for a minute. Every time you make a small commission, I promise you there was a window, there was a hole, there was a crack in that castle, and you didn't find it because you weren't paying attention. It's just the facts. Now remember, I'm all about winners. Winners look in the mirror and they own their stuff. Losers, they give away the power to change anything and they make excuses. So either you're a person who owns their stuff and gets better, or you make excuses, you whine, complain, and cry, and it's ineffective and really no one cares. If you want real results, pay close attention. Remember I said answers, solutions, and money. It's everywhere. The only way that you'll find those things are to pay attention. Okay, write this down. Paying attention allows you to truly understand people and to truly understand their real problems. Write that down, real problems. It could be real motives / real problems. Okay? So paying attention allows you to truly understand people. You gotta understand people. Remember this, it ain't about product knowledge, it's about people knowledge. You gotta understand people. Okay? If you don't pay attention, you're never gonna understand people because you're never really gonna care. Write this down. If people don't feel like you really genuinely care, your sales are gonna be in the trash can. Okay, so you got to understand the person, and then you got to also understand their real motives, and you got to understand their real problems. I learned this, even though somebody's trying to gain something, usually people got a problem somewhere. Okay, just pay attention. You know, those that have ears to hear, hear. Okay, I promise you, man, it's the most underrated thing in sales is people listening. Everybody's like, yeah, you got to be a good talker. Yeah, you do. Yeah, that's right. That was never wrong. But you got to listen because you know what to say. If you don't listen, what are you saying? Well, the same thing to everybody, hoping it all works. Never going to make it to the top that way. Okay? All right, so I want you to understand this. What do you want to do? Okay? You got to write this down. What do you want to do? Okay? Do you want to do A, which is get a quick look or a glance at someone's problem? Or number 2, you want to do B. You want to study and you want to pay attention. When I have a client in front of me, I study everything about them. I'll study the way they look. I study their insecurities. I study the way they act. I study their nervousness. I study their confidence. I study how much they believe. I study whether they look at me in the eyes. I study whether they are filled with love or whether they need love. Look, a lot of people just need a lot of love, man. I know this, dude. I got people that come in every day. I got people I talk to on the phone. I can tell number one thing in the world that they don't feel loved. They're frustrated. They're tired. Look, hey, people that are tired, what do they need? Winning vibes, winning energy, love. Right? Me to make them feel important, make them feel significant, make them feel like they matter, that they've been seen. Remember this, if people haven't feel like they've been heard, they're not going to hear you. Pay attention. The difference in your results and your paycheck will be massive just by learning the skill of paying attention. Okay? Super important. All right. Do you possess the power of paying attention? Ask yourself that right now. Write that down too. Do I possess the power of paying attention? Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I got ADD. I got ADHD. They said, I probably got everything in the world. Dude, I can pay attention. I can do whatever I want to do. I grew up in a day, 1979 is when I was born. I grew up in a day whenever kids ran the streets, we got on our bikes and, we just left the whole day. Parents never knew where we were. And we came home late at night, got our butt whipped, worked out our own problems in the street, and nobody labeled anybody with anything. Why? Because we just worked it out. I paid attention to everything. It's called street smarts. And nowadays, people are so concerned about book smarts, like traditional education. I love that. I love the discipline it takes to learn traditional education, but street smarts, okay, people knowledge, skill of communication, paying attention, this is what will make you a multi-millionaire in this era. Nobody possesses this anymore. I want you to understand the same problems that you struggle with is the same problems that everyone else in this world struggles with. Once you can overcome your own problems, once you can get yourself unstuck, once you pay attention to what I'm saying, you're immensely qualified now to help those people overcome those same things. Isn't that cool? Welcome to sales. This is how we dominate. Do you possess the power of paying attention? Yes, you do. It is a skill. Everything is a skill. Everything that someone else can do, you can be taught and do it also. And that's why I'm teaching you. Because I learned it. And now you're going to learn it. Okay. So many salespeople miss something or miss someone. Underline something and underline someone. Because there's something or someone that's always being missed in every sale. Okay. Make sure you're uncovering, like the previous video, questions. You're uncovering things so you can understand, is anyone else involved in this party? Does anyone else really genuinely take care of their money, their finances, their obligations like they do? Is there anyone else, or is it just them? Now, there could be people that do, but that don't help. There's the question I used to always ask in sales, and they would be like, oh, I got to talk to my brother about this monthly payment. And I would say, oh, okay, cool. Is he going to be participating with the monthly payment, the down payment, or both? And they'd say, what do you mean? I'd say, well, no, you're going to talk to your brother. And I love that. But like, is he helping out with the monthly payment that you're going to be making today, or the down payment, or both of them? Oh, no, he's not going to be making the monthly payment or the down payment. Oh, okay. So it's your decision. You're going to be the one making the payment. And even if he told you to do this or that, at the end of the day, it's still going to be you paying for it. Is that correct? So at the end of the day, the most important thing is, do you feel like you want this? Do you feel like you can afford it? Because no one's going to be paying for it but you. You see, when I said, I totally understand, is he going to be paying for the monthly payment, the down payment, or both? See, I'm pivoting out that person, even if you ask her a question, they don't care enough to even pay the down. If they're not paying the down payment, then how much should they really be involved in this? If they're not paying the monthly payment, how much should they really be involved in this? Right? This is ultimately comes down to you. So then it goes back to me and you. Does that make sense? You got to pay attention. You got to ask those questions. Okay? Now, everything is a skill and you can learn this. This is simple. So many salespeople, they miss something or they miss someone in sales. Your goal, write this down, my goal, underline it 3 times, my goal, line, underneath it, is to get higher commissions and less lost sales. That's your number one goal. That's what we're doing all this for. Yes, it is to teach you how to sell, but it is to get higher commissions and less lost sales. Convert at a higher rate and increase your profit margins. Okay. Realization. Write that down. Realization. Your unfair advantage to crush all the other companies and crush all the other salespeople, right, is because they don't even care what I'm teaching you. And they're not taking the time to train. And they're not taking the time to learn any of this. Okay? This makes me feel great and should make you feel that you have an immediate unfair advantage. I love teaching my best students. I want you to write this down, okay? I'm going to become Andy Elliott's #1 best student. I mean, like in the whole world. I train millions of people. I'm going to become his #1 best student. And I want to tell you why. Tony Robbins, when I started my training, okay, in 2019, when I changed my life, and he was one of the first guys I started watching, I said to myself, I wrote this down. I said, realization, I'm going to be Tony Robbins' #1 student. And last year, Tony Robbins gave me a shout out in front of millions of people and says, Andy Elliott's my #1 student. I just want you to think about that for a minute. Is that possible right now? Can we make that decision right now? Yep, sure can. This is the unfair advantage. This is the realization that anything that can be learned is a skill. And every skill you can learn. And so when I see people that can do things that I can't do, they do things that I can't do because they put in more time in me. They wanted to learn that skill more than I wanted to learn it. They had a better teacher than me. They invested in themselves more. They took more risks in me. They've done something. I can't compare myself and say, I want what they have if I'm not willing to go through what they went through. Someone asked me the other day, they go, Andy, I want to build a $100 million business. I said, okay, cool. I spent $1 million last year in self-development. And why do I want to do that? Okay, cool. Well, then you're not willing to do what I'm willing to do. And they said, well, I don't have that kind of money. Well, when I had nothing, I still spent thousands. And then when I had thousands, I still spent 100,000. People say, well, I could have bought a house with that. I know. But I'm into multiplying, not adding. And by the way, you know what I know? Everything that everyone knows, I know that I can also have the same ability to know that same thing and be better than them. As long as I'm willing to put in the work. There's this thing in the world right now where no one wants to put in the work. The difference between where you are and where you want to go is the work that you're avoiding. And I always say that people always look down on or make fun of or hate people that are doing the work that they're not willing to do. And they talk trash on these people. And so I want to tell you something. When I see people that are doing like great things and they're like great communicators and they're the best in sales, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is an opportunity for me to see one of these human beings right in front of my face. I'm going to learn everything they know. And I'm going to become just as good. Even if it takes me 2 years, I'll become just as good. Then I'm going to become better. Right? I want you to understand this. Remember, sales is made not in a day. It's made day by day. It's every day. How many days a week are you going to study? 1, 2, 5, 10, 7? I mean, what is it? Twice a day? You know, how many times? How long? What will you put into it will determine how fast you'll get this. You got it? So write this down. We're going to end this video. Total immersion. I want you to use total immersion on every skill that I teach you, but really importantly, this video is about paying attention. I want you to immerse in paying attention, and I want you to understand, put yourself in your client's shoes for a minute. When they see how much you care, when they see how important they are to you, when they see how significant they are to you, when they see how much they matter, people don't care about how much you know. You can be the best in the world and have all the product knowledge and know everything about your company and what it'll do for you. You can know all that, but if they don't know how much you care, it means nothing. Pay attention. Paying attention is something you can't fake. Paying attention is a skill you must learn, and it must become you. It's all in one. Okay? So I love you guys. Hope this video helped, and I'll see you in the next video.